What is happening? I hope you can hear me. I think you can because I could hear that music in my ears. Uh, it is Tuesday. We're going to take questions today. We're going to hang out. We're going to take comments. We're going to chat. I'm in a great mood. I have been deep dive training martial arts the last couple of days. So I've been training with a OG Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, second degree. I think he's got a couple stripes on his black belt. His name's Justin Bruckman, and he is literally an OG of fighting, of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Canada, of any kind of fighting. I've been training with him in depth 3-4 hours a day. Today was 3 or 4 hours of training, and then I went and kind of observed and analyzed him rolling 8-10 rounds with 7 other black belts, and they are all in a bubble, and they're in an area of Ontario where one can do this. Yeah, it was pretty spectacular. We'll take questions today. I've been on this real trip of studying fighting for the purpose of seeing what we can learn about life, and there's a lot in there. Of course, right? And the deeper you are into physically doing martial arts yourself, for me, the deeper I can see these connections. We've got some hi, Robin. Hello. I'll put up questions. We'll take anything at all. I've been hanging out in daily every day in something called what is it called? Clubhouse. My brain is so tired because I've been so deeply immersed in training jiu-jitsu the last few days, and the rest of this week I kind of took a little. I'm focusing on my Bellator work. I'm really and what I'm talking about today is incremental learning or incremental. I called it incremental victories. Even when I posted that, I was like, is that accurate? Probably not. Incremental tests, incremental little battles, incremental battles maybe might be a better way to put it. But let me tell you what I learned in martial arts today and how I'm seeing this apply. So I trained all day. I just opened this cold adult beverage. And I ordered shawarma from a great place. It's going to be about 45 minutes till it arrives. They'll do no knock. My wife will buzz them in. She's in the small town we live in, and it will be here. And until then, we are going to hang out, and I'm going to share with you, hopefully, valuable things that I learned. So I'm back training, like I said, fairly intensively right now. In doing so, I'm able to re-examine my relationship with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu while seeing it through Justin Bruckman. Again, this is an OG high-level, not only Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, but a fighter, a mixed martial arts fighter, and an interesting mind. Justin, his 5th or 6th professional MMA fight was against a gentleman by the name of George St-Pierre. George is a good friend, and I'm going to get George. Someone's doing a documentary on Justin, my friend Dara, and I'm going to get George to, hopefully, he's a friend and he's very generous. Hopefully he'll give us 10 minutes on Zoom later this week so I can record that with him talking about Justin. Justin's 5th or 6th pro MMA fight was fighting George St-Pierre. George's 3rd, I think, was fighting Justin. So that gives you a sense of what kind of OG this guy is. So we will take questions and comments as we go. But first, let me kind of lay out for you. So I'm able to go back and see. I've been a blue belt for 12 years, but I think part of what I'm doing this week is Justin is assessing to figure out where actually I am as a martial artist. Because I haven't worn a belt or a gi, had 9 MMA fights. So my jiu-jitsu training was customized for mixed martial arts all that time, and no gi. And I haven't worn a gi this year, obviously, because of COVID. So he's going to assess that. But I'm also able to see through his eyes as an OG. And then he's got 2 young white belts that have been in a bubble, in a safe environment, at a place where you're allowed to train in Ontario. And he's been able to train with them and teach them. He's far back. They live together. It's a perfect scenario for them. So I'm able to see the game through their eyes. So they're brand new. I've been training martial arts all my life, but jiu-jitsu since 2006-ish, so about 15 years. And then Justin, who's going on 25 years. So I'm able to see it through all these different perspectives. And there was a revealing point today where these 2 brothers who are white belts at a different stage along, where Suddenly one is caught in a triangle. I was able to catch him in a triangle the day before. Then he was saying, Coach, can we learn triangle defense? And Justin, and this was a theme today, Justin said, why are you in a triangle? And that's a damn fucking good question, right? That's a damn good question. Not just from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, but from a life standpoint. Coach, can you tell me how to, like, put up bail? Why are you in jail? Coach, can you tell me how to get out of jail? Why did you get caught? Coach, can you tell me how to not get caught? Why are you committing a crime? Coach, can you tell me how to not commit a crime? And you just go back. You just go back in life, Coach, tell me, what do I do if I get fired? Why did you get fired? Coach, can you tell me what I do when I get into conflict with my boss? Why did you get into conflict? And you see the normal reverse incremental aspect. So this is a really good question. Would you say that your last belt doesn't match your actual knowledge of BJJ? I think I'll have a better idea of that 2-3 days from now when I'm wearing the belt that I actually matches. Right now, I don't know. I got a belt 12 years ago. And I haven't done since. So I don't know. I'm not qualified to say that, but Professor Bruckman is. So I'll know that in a few days, I think. But so, yes, this is what we're learning here. So he was saying, Coach, can you show me triangle defense? And of course, Justin is a very engaging and interesting, fascinating coach and mentor and leader. But he's like, why are you in a triangle? He wasn't just asking for the answer. He was, raising an important question. The issue isn't I'm in a triangle. The issue is there were many steps that happened where either an error was created or a fight was lost to get into that triangle. And that's another thing that is very important to understand. Whether we see a guy get punched, what did he do wrong? Often he didn't do anything wrong. The other guy was able to do something, he did something different. I was earlier wearing a rock, paper, scissors shirt, and that's not the scenario here. But sometimes, what did this guy do wrong? He played rock, and that guy played paper, and that's what happened. And there isn't always an error, but sometimes there is, or sometimes there was a fight I had to make, a fight I had to compete, and I did not compete. And so I was able to see this young, his name's Eli. I was able to see his kind of eyes open up as he's being shown there's a grip point, there's a pull down point, I'm collapsing your body, I'm controlling your hips, I'm moving out onto an angle. There are these things that I am doing that his issue is I have to fight those battles during the process to get there. So of course that's interesting, and I hope everybody kind of got that. It's a fairly basic principle, but the issue isn't I'm in a triangle. The issue is somebody grabbed a hold of me, got some grips, used those grips to pull me down. From pulling me down, controlled my hip. From doing that, threw their leg up. Each of those things is a fight. Each of those things is a battle. Each of those things can be contested. And so I saw this young white belt who works really hard and is very good, very fast, seeing that simple idea. It's just revealed to him, it's, oh shit, these are all little battles that must be learned and mastered. And life is like this. Life is absolutely like this. I'm very fortunate, and I'm very complimented, and I'm super grateful. Lately, I've been on Clubhouse every day. I'm on Clubhouse pretty much every day for 8 or 9 days, and people are asking me, hey, you're successful at the thing you do, and I'm defining success by I get to do what I love all day and follow my curiosity, and that pays all of my bills and a little more, some amount more, where more than I need. I am currently fortunate to have. And I have adventures and I meet interesting people and I get to do what I love. And to me, that's successful. Not everybody will agree. So, bro, you're not, it's all how we define it. But people are asking me that, hey, how do I get to do the thing I love to do? And today I realized it's like, I didn't, there was no big win. In fact, there was big wins popped up and then didn't take, I've told this story before, but Joe Rogan recommended me to Dana White, who flew me to Vegas, who offered me a job and said, you're going to be on UFC tonight. We're moving you and your wife to LA. Well, that just didn't happen because big wins from white belt to black belt don't happen super often. And when they do, you might not belong there. And then you will not succeed when you're there anyways. Instead, it was like I worked at a place. They laid off their whole staff. I started a thing. I had a couple things. I got better at it. I made 1,500 or 2,000 1-minute breakdowns. People started to like them. That grew something else a little bit. I worked for DAZN. Bellator liked my work, and they hired me. That work that made my work better. And it was small battles: grip, break the posture, pull the arm, step across. It was small battles the whole time, and it still is. I don't think and there's a lot of great questions. I'm going to pull them up right now. I'm just trying to lay out this idea that very simple principle, nobody just suddenly is like, oh my God, a triangle, unless there's a dramatic difference between the skill sets. And even then, that's not a real contest, because at each stage of your life, it gets harder, not just in jiu-jitsu. In my job now, I have to learn many things other than how to analyze martial arts. I have to understand what a contract is. I have to understand how to negotiate. In my process, speaking of the small battles, somewhere along the line, I did good enough work that I attracted the attention of an agent who works with me. Her name is Jennifer Goldstein. She's brilliant, and she helps me. And so now all of a sudden I had a corner or a coach, and these little incremental battles, which I wouldn't, if I'd met her 2 years earlier, I wouldn't have done enough that maybe she would have had as much interest in what I was doing, that we spent time. Each of these things, it gets harder and a little more challenging. So yes, a black belt can throw a triangle on a white belt and go from nothing to black belt. But in real life, it's a lot of work to get there. There's no 0 to 100. There's 0 to 2, back to 1, up to 7, back to 6. This is how life works. And once you're on that path, you don't feel rushed, because, hey, I'm going to make small incremental improvements. The journey is the thing. It's not like, oh my God, either I got the triangle or I didn't get the triangle. Well, did you get him into a good position? Did you learn something? Are you fitter now? Did you enjoy it? Like, everything isn't about, some people's whole, their goals board or whatever they have. They're like, I want to make $10 million. Well, how about making $10? And then 12, if money is your thing. Money is not my thing. Easy to say, because I have some of it now. But when I started deprioritizing money and saying money will not be my goal, I had none of it. And in fact, I was in debt. I was alone, not alone in life. I had my wife as my partner and my best friend, but I was alone I had no jobs. I had no employment, I had no income, and I had a debt. And I was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to think about money. I'm going to think about doing great work and learning and trying to create some kind of meaningful change. So we'll get back to this. I'll come back to the root of this. Let me first check on my shawarma. It will be here. It says 7:30. But you should, wow, it actually might be here. That's crazy. We'll let it sit and we'll hang. We'll come back to this root of this, but we'll also take some points here. Hey, it's Justin Bruckman's here. Look at this. So please follow this gentleman. I don't know if he's still watching, but this is the gentleman I was telling you about. I'm learning from today, from his perspective, my perspective, the young people's perspective, the white belt's perspective, his 25 years. We're learning lessons about life within this. Those little battles taught today, I thought about that in the context of little battles that we'll do and all kinds of things, little improvements that we'll make. So nice to see. I hope you're still here, Coach, Professor. It's really wonderful. I just had to come up and blurt this out today. I'm really tired, and I'm really hungry, and I'm really sore, but I really had to share this. So I'm glad you saw. Good day from BC. Long time no see, Robin. What have you learned that has been more than the hardest battles to date? That has been more the hardest battles to date. Patience. Patience is hard. Patience is hard. I learned that one, though. I picked that up. I started to figure that one out, that's actually important. And that, like, if you just keep, patience is really deeply connected to process for me. If you're doing the process, you're doing the work, and you're patient, it'll all work out. Some people will use a whole lot of P's: patience, or passion, perseverance, patience. They'll put a whole bunch of P's together. And for me, process. The process. How am I going to get better? If I understand these are little things that are all happening, I'm learning little pieces and I'm piecing it all together in such a way. I will probably get better at jujitsu, but then that thing's going to be really useful for life. But patience was hard for me. Like when I used to play in a band, I was like, we want to have a record deal. And we actually had one. And then we're like, we want to like have, a tour bus, and we want to be huge. And it's like, then you get these things if you're lucky enough to get them, or you're fortunate enough, or you do the work and you stumble upon them. You're not thankful because you're just like, well, I want the next thing. It's like patience is really important, and trying to enjoy the whole ride, you know. But please follow Coach Justin Bruckman with a CK and MA 2 Ns. Bruckman Martial Arts on Instagram and other places. I see your point. Making learning interact. My vision is like, oh, look, I can make this bigger. See your point. Wow, now I'm ugly. I just got a lot bigger on my own screen. I hope this isn't what you guys see. I see your point. Making learning interactive with an emphasis on developing analytical skills rather than just being told to remember off by heart. So remembering something, or just like categorizing things, or just being able to pass the test can be a useful thing, but figuring out how to reason your way through things, that's sort of what we're hoping to do. And even just a full immersion for me for the last few days and for the next few days is making me think, why do I love martial arts so much? With the learning and the growth and the changing and the movement, but the little philosophies that we're going to learn about that will apply everywhere. They'll apply everywhere. I got to sit and watch 7 high-level black belts, all different, all compete tonight. And, little things, I was talking to Justin and to a couple other ones, and I pick up little mindset things. Sometimes it's a small one. It's like, I'm going to be the guy who, like, you can kind of decide what you're going to be to some degree. And then, oh yeah. So people like George, it's like, yep, I was telling you that story. That is true. Persistence, also a good P. On this path you have taken, and on the topic of step by step, how clear was your goal and vision to get you where you are now? It seems to have a less rigid goal, gives flexibility. Actually, my goal was super rigid, and it was the wrong goal for me, but it got me started down long enough to identify the right goal. I actually was like, I want to commentate the UFC with my friend Joe Rogan and John Anik. I want to sit there with those guys and commentate these people. That goal doesn't make sense, because that goal is actually, I want to get a particular job. The goal of I want to get a particular job is, how do I convince the right people to hire me? That's the real answer to that goal. The answer isn't how do I become the best I can be. That could be helpful, but it may not succeed in answering that. There are 2 or 3 or 4 people that make decisions that people don't know. And can I convince that person that that's not a logical goal. Over time, I saw that, and my goal came to be, how can I create something valuable? How can I give some value? And then it became, now it is, how can I influence how people see this thing? Because I see it fucking cool, and I think I can get other people to see how cool it is and appreciate it in a different way. That's actually my goal. And even further, I'm like, how can I create change in this whole space? The way we talk about it, the way we think about it, the way we respect it. I think I can do those things, or at least influence it a little bit, that if I influence Joe, or if I influence, Brian Stan, when he was commentating, he used to consume all my work. Joe, John Anik, these guys consume my stuff. Maybe I could influence them if I can't influence millions of people. And maybe I can influence millions of people. You would be great in the UFC. Yeah, that ain't happening, because I now love Bellator so much. I love to be able to chat about the UFC on TSN. Makes me super happy. I'm going to do it a couple times this week. Tomorrow I'm shooting something with them. Thursday I'm going on Jay, my friend Jay Onright. He's got a show. He used to be Jay and Dan. Some people in America knew them as a duo on Fox. So I'm going on Jay's show Thursday night. And then Saturday, we cover the UFC. So I get to do it. But working for that company is not that doesn't look super appealing to me. It's super corporate. And I'm not super corporate. Like me streaming with, a beer waiting for my shawarma, that's just really rewarding for me. And the fact that anyone gives a shit is super cool. That makes sense to me. And I do the thing where I wear the suit, and sometimes that's really fun. You can put on your makeup and you got your hair looking better than it looks now. it doesn't take hard to make it better than this, but a professional will be able to do that. Wear an expensive suit and you sit there, and I like doing that sometimes. But being able to just hang out and like study martial arts all day, and then go and sit on my thing and analyze it in my own way, saying the things I like to say to make people, laugh. And you influence Joe Rogan. He says "bink" a lot. Yeah, but that's cool. But Joe influenced the shit out of me and lots of us. So, if I can do that even a tiny bit, that's a cool thing. I think my shawarma's here. So before we get back to it, thanks for everyone's questions. We'll probably take a couple more we're just going to wrap what we learned today. There was a lot of things that I learned today. Some of them were technical. Revisited how the armbar leads to the triangle and leads to the omoplata and leads to the sweep. That's something I have done for 12 or 13 years, but I never did it this way. Never saw it this way. Never thought about it this way. One of my favorite, parables or philosophies is a man cannot step in a river twice because it is not the same river and he is not the same man. I just fucking love that thing. That sounds so poetic, and it seems, and it feels real. The river of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I've been stepping in that thing since 2006. But it wasn't the same river today, and I'm not the same guy. And the guy paddling the boat, showing me the river all of it was different. And that's the beauty of it. So I got to learn some technical things, and then there were some psychological things that we learned today, the how and the push. And, I'm going to, how the choices I make when I'm either competing or pushing myself or whatever will affect the entire thing. And then the biggest one, the big cool reveal for me, like I said, for anyone who's just joining, was watching two young guys that have been trained with a high-level coach who's been working for them, seeing that little light go off today about everything is a small battle. We don't go and become a black belt tomorrow. We do many things. I don't get a triangle right now. I build up to it. I don't get the dream job because somebody picks me out of a crowd. I build, business capital or knowledge or experience or followers or whatever the thing, or be successful in something else and take whatever I learned. And it's small and it's short, small bits, little bits and bits. And that's life. And so that's the fundamental thing I learned today. When I eat this shawarma, I'm literally going to fall asleep because I'm also sore and my brain is exhausted. But I wanted to share this, and I'm so happy that I got to. And my food's here. I only have one of these in the fridge, and that's all I need. I'm going to fall asleep. But this shawarma, Liberty Shawarma in downtown Toronto, it's like this big. So this will put me out. Thanks, everyone. Professor Justin Bruckman, I don't know if you're still hanging out here. If you are, that's very generous of you. And thank you. I learned a lot today, and I'm having such a great week. Oh, there he is. Justin Bruckman, Bruckmann, Bruckman Martial Arts. Follow my coach. And that's it. I will see you guys. I will be definitely back here Saturday, maybe before that UFC and definitely after. But I got some cool Bellator shit going. Really, really, really cool. Watch Bellator's social media and mine. We're working on a couple of really cool things. I'm super stoked. Much love. Enjoy the hostilities, my friends.